Welcome to Charts Today Energy. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 15th of November, comes to you from London. And crude recovering a little bit this morning, so we are just seeing the energy mix improving on that. Just looking at the macro, the dollar index was down this morning, but just flattening. Short-term bearish at the moment. We're just moving back into the cycle here, where euro is stronger, dollar is weaker, but the long-term charts for the euro are still pretty grim. Looking at sterling actually not doing very much at all on this Brexit announcement, and against the euro, sterling sinking lower this morning. So the market's fairly underwhelmed. And looking at Swiss franc, we're seeing here sterling also looking lower. Bitcoin collapsed overnight. That big fall there, down more than 10%. So we're seeing Bitcoin looking very bearish. And US stock market was down, although looks like we're going to open up today. And across Europe, we're generally flat, a little bit higher. FTSE 100 is up 0.5%. Germany up a little bit. Asia mostly up, and gold actually returning to short-term bullish territory. So looking quite interesting there. Looking at Brent crude, we see here we're still very bearish below the cloud on the medium and short-term time frames. Long-term support is at around $63 on the price, so we're now much closer to that than we were, of course. We've got a downside target of $60 that was given way back in October, and that's now only 9% lower than where we are, and $63 on the short-term chart if we make new lows. Looking at the 1-minute chart for Brent crude, we see we do have a few upside targets, and we're just starting to break the trend, but we do have also these downside targets hanging over us. So the picture's not really looking like a clear recovery yet. Looking at WTI, the targets are more clearly down here, so it does look like WTI will head lower. 53, 52, 54, all the targets there. Low 50s, so looking weaker there. US NatGas had another amazing day yesterday. Has really rocketed. I mean, the chart has gone ballistic, up 50% in a couple of weeks. It's just really rocketed, and we've got these amazing targets now as high as $11. Of course, we have to move higher to activate that, but really big upside potential now for US NatGas. Looks like it's going to move higher for the first time in years, and we're seeing here we're now nudging 2014, early 2014 levels. And of course, if we can take out that $6.50 level, which was unthinkable not so long ago, it does look like we really are making this bullish transition. We did make it before, of course, in 2012, and it was short-lived. So we can't get too excited, but the long-term chart there is looking very bullish indeed. We do, on the short term, we're deteriorating away this morning on the price, and on the short term targets we do have 426. I can't believe that I'm saying a downside target for US NatGas of $4.26, but that would have been a very big upside target recently. And we've got a few downside targets, so it does look like we're going to fall away. Looking at heating oil, that's up on crude oil this morning. So just gaining there, and RBOB is down just under 1/3%, although we still do have these targets here, so looking better there. Looking to European energy products, we look at API2 at the moment. All this data coming from Thomson Reuters Icon, of course. If you're using Trayport, you will have some slightly different targets because you'll have better liquidity on the screen. But we've got downside targets 82.20, 84, 81.60, 83.70, 84.68. Lots of downside targets heading to that low 80s level, of course. So it does look like coal has got further to fall there. The correlation with crude quite high, so crude falls further, we shouldn't be surprised to see coal falling further. Looking at emissions this morning, up slightly. We've seen just yesterday they recovered towards the end, and we're just up slightly. We've got targets to the upside of 20 euros 35. Downside targets as well, though. This 1 minute chart is the chart to watch for your emissions targets. These downside targets look pretty big, so they are hanging over us at the moment. That's 1880 and 1845. MBP is up 0.6%. We've seen quite a rocky road the last 24 hours in MBP. The 1 minute targets, again, upside targets are 79.70, 77.90. This is on front month again off icon data. And if we look at the 60-minute chart, 74, 79, 79. Keep an eye on these charts through the day. Watch for any new targets emerging. But MBP is looking better on the short-term charts. TTF up 1/3% this morning. Not as clear a recovery as MBP, and we are just seeing here upside targets though 28.70, 28.30, 27.25. So the upside is looking strong. We've got downside targets, but they're not activated. We'd need a move below 26.20 on TTF to activate those. So that's looking pretty strong as well. German gas is down 0.6%, having risen quite strongly this month, but so not looking as strong. German power is down 0.86%. So here we see the power price just falling away. We're flat yesterday, but falling to new lows this morning. The 1 minute targets, we've got 50 euros 40, 51.40. So about 2.4% downside. We do still have this upside target of 58.50, but we need a reversal to really make that look likely on the short-term chart. Keep an eye out on those targets. 49.80 is the downside target on the 60-minute chart. So power just struggling to hold the gains that we've seen of last week or so. Looking at UK power, we're up 1% this morning, and this chart looking quite a bit better there. And Polish power, we've had an update from the exchange there. But remembering your Trayport screen, you've probably got slightly better data for looking at these products. Keep an eye on the 1 minute targets. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.